What's going on, everyone? Alex Prime here, and today is the day Nintendo has finally announced the Nintendo Switch Lite. Yes, it's called the Lite, not the Mini, like the DS Lite. So, this trailer launched in the morning, and people are pretty excited. It is pretty cool. It has some good stuff, it has some bad stuff, so we'll kind of go over everything. And we'll answer the question, is the Nintendo Switch Lite for you? Or should you just get a normal Nintendo Switch? So, first, off the bat, $199.99. It's $100 cheaper than the standard Nintendo Switch. That's a good price point. It basically takes over the price point of the new Nintendo 3DS. And that's fantastic. That's going to be a good entry point into the Switch family. And going to be a lot more appealing to people on the 3DS who want to move over to Nintendo's next handheld device. Now, you can see here the design of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Very similar, but obviously it is a little bit smaller. And if you notice on the left side, this is one of the cool additions. It actually has a proper D-pad as opposed to the 4 separate buttons on the Joy-Cons. You will also notice that the Joy-Cons are not detachable. That is probably a cost-saving feature, and you'll understand why later. That's one of the downsides. You cannot detach the Joy-Cons. So, for example, if one of your analog sticks malfunctions, you would have to send your whole Switch to get that fixed. That sucks. Whereas the regular Switch, you can send just the Joy-Con off, or you can buy a new Joy-Con altogether. So we will see if these if these analog sticks are of higher quality than the initial Switch's analog sticks, because as we knew, those had problems on the left side with drifting issues. Hopefully, this doesn't have that. Build quality apparently is good. I was reading an article on CNET. They said the build quality is good. But there are some things that are different. Obviously, it's physically smaller. That includes the screen size. So the normal screen size of the Nintendo Switch is 6.2 inches. And the Switch Mini, it's 5.5. So it is smaller. But that comes with the dimensions of the device being smaller as well. Right now, the current Switch is 4 inches high, 9.4 inches long, and 0.55 inches deep, whereas the new Switch Lite is 3.6 inches high, 8.2 inches long, and the same depth. So it is noticeably smaller, so if you are primarily playing handheld mode, this is probably going to be very appealing to you because it'll be easier to carry. I don't think it's small enough to fit in all pants, but if you have larger pockets, should be fine, and for smaller bags, this would be a little better. It's lighter. The normal Switch is 0.88 pounds. This new Lite is 0.61 pounds, so it's definitely lighter. That, of course, is because it's smaller and has a smaller screen. Speaking of the screen, it's still 720p. There were rumors of it being 1080p, but that made no sense, because why would the handheld-only cheaper version have a better screen than the flagship model? That never made sense. I don't know why anyone believed that was a thing. But yes, it's still 720p. So there is that. The battery life is a little bit longer. Current Switch has 2.5 to 6.5 hours of battery life, depending on what game you're playing. Whereas the Switch Lite will have 3 to 7 hours. So you're getting about 30 minutes extended battery life. That comes down to two things. One, the screen being smaller, and also apparently it's using a newer version of the Tegra processor. According to CNET, it's like an updated version, but supposedly that same chip will be going into the normal Nintendo Switch going forward. So they'll both be using the same chip, so maybe the regular Switch battery life might improve as well. That's not confirmed yet though. There are 3 colors for the Nintendo Switch Lite. There is a yellow, there is a teal, which looks really nice, and there is a classic gray. And all the buttons are white, so that's pretty cool. It helps it stand out a lot more. So we'll see how that looks in person. It's always hard to tell with pictures. But what's interesting is around the screen, there's actually a large bezel, but they color some of that bezel the same color as the actual Switch Mini, whatever one you have. So you have the yellow, they'll have colored part of the screen yellow, for an example. So that's pretty cool. That's an interesting way of hiding the bezel. I don't know why they would have went with a smaller screen instead of just using the same screen. Maybe it's the only way they could get the cost down, or maybe battery life would have taken a hit, because from what I understand, the battery inside this Switch is also smaller than the one in the regular Switch. So maybe that was a concession they needed to make. Now, the big thing that might sway your opinion on which Switch to get is this Nintendo Switch Lite does not dock. You cannot connect this to the TV. It is handheld only. So there are some games that you will not be able to play natively on this device. That's 1-2 Switch, for example, as if anyone cares. But you can still connect separate Joy-Cons to this Switch Lite to take advantage of features like HD Rumble and the IR Blaster, because the Switch Lite does not have those features. They have been stripped out of the Switch Lite, so there's no HD Rumble, there is no motion controls, there's no docking, there's no tabletop mode. It's purely for handheld. So they did strip out quite a lot to get it down that $100. It's up to you if it's worth it. Like, if you were only going to play your Switch in handheld mode and you save $100, that's not a bad deal. But if you want to be able to use the Switch in multiple situations, or once in a while hook it up to the TV, then the Switch Lite probably is not for you. They also announced a Pokemon edition for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which looks really cool. It's got gray and the blue and the red to match the games. And on the back, there's a picture of the new legendary Pokemon. So that's pretty cool as well. It still uses the micro SD card slot. It still has 32 gigs of internal storage. Everything else in that respect is the same as the standard Switch. It's just a little bit smaller, it's cheaper, and it has less functionality. You can still connect local wireless to other Switches, so you can still do the 8-player wireless local with other people who have a regular Switch, so that's cool. And that's about it, really. It's a new entry point into the Switch family, $200 as opposed to $300 with the regular Switch. So let's ask the question, is this for you? If you're a person who only wants to play in handheld mode and you don't want to spend a lot of money, maybe you only want to play a few games here and there like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, maybe Zelda, and you're not very interested in playing it on the TV, then yeah, this probably is a good deal for you. But for everybody else who wants to use the Switch Minis as their primary device and they're going to play a lot of games on it and want to play on the TV, then I would suggest saving up a little bit longer and getting the regular Switch, because you do get a lot more for your money. You get the dock, you can connect it to the TV, you have separate Joy-Cons, you have HD Rumble, you have IR motion control. There's a lot more stuff you can do with the regular Switch. That's why it's $100 more. So really, guys, that's up to you at the end of the day. You'll still be able to play all the same games, minus the ones that require HD Rumble or motion sensors. But there's very few that actually require that, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Is it for me? Absolutely not. I already got my Switch. I'm very happy with my Switch. I like the size of the screen on this. I wouldn't want to go down to a smaller screen, and I definitely like being able to dock my Switch because I play primarily in docked mode. But this is not for me. I'm already a Switch owner. This is for people like who are on the 3DS looking to upgrade, or for kids, or a secondary Switch for the house. That's really who this is targeted for. So if you fit into one of those categories, then this would be a great deal for you. But that is it, guys. The Switch Lite, it's real. It's coming out September 20th, right alongside Link's Awakening. It's kind of weird there's not a Link's Awakening version of this. I don't know why they wouldn't make one, but they're doing a Pokemon one, and we know about that ahead of time. I believe the Pokemon one comes out a couple days or a week before the actual Pokemon game, and that's a limited time edition one, so watch out for that one because it looks really cool. But that's it. Switch Lite, guys. Let me know what you think about it. Are you interested in this, or are you just gonna get a normal Switch now? Now that we know the limitations of the Switch Lite, let's talk about it in the comment section below. Have a great day. I'm Alex Prime, and I hope you had a great time. Bye.